Hello and welcome to the channel again. Pen friends everywhere, thank you for tuning in. I got myself the regular cup of coffee, and today I've decided to start a new series of videos that I'm going to post on my YouTube channel. And this series is based on the knowledge that I've acquired in my years of collecting fountain pens and using fountain pens, and I truly believe this knowledge could help a lot of you to move forward. And the topic of today is flex nibs. I've got a lot of questions regarding this topic, and I've made myself a few notes using the good old trusty pen and paper. And let's discuss flex nibs. First, what is a flex nib? Well, a flex nib is a nib that offers line variation. This is kinda the general description of a flex nib because they do come in all shapes and sizes and materials and all of that. So let's talk about them. Well, flex nibs you can have in modern pens or vintage pens. I myself don't have that much experience with vintage flex nibs, so we are going to keep this video regarding modern flex nibs. Why do people or fountain pen enthusiasts choose to have flex nibs? If I'm going to say something regarding this, I'm saying based on my experiences, and I've experienced a phase with flex nibs over the years. And early in my collecting habits, or when I started in this hobby, I was looking only for flex nibs on my pens, and I was obsessed with line variation. You will see that moving further in this hobby, this will not be that important to you, or maybe it will be, but for myself it did not. And over the years I've learned that it's more important to have a proper writing nib, because you will not use flex nibs in everyday writing, and you will not write flexing the nib every single time you're going to touch the paper. But anyway, people love them. They are a ton of fun to use, to own, to have. They add a lot of great character to your handwriting. They are practicing tools. You can learn to improve your handwriting using flex nibs. So this is why I think you should have this flex nibs in your collection and actually try to practice with them and have fun. What is so overrated about them? Well, I think to a certain degree flex nibs are used by everyone because at one point you probably, like myself, seen a video with someone who is using a Spencerian modded pen or a Spencerian script to write, and you probably had the same thought like myself, and I'm going to go buy a flex nib and practice to write like this. Guys, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but 99% of the times you won't be able to write like that. And I'm saying this because it takes a lot of years to practice handwriting like that, and probably most of you will move forward and not be able to go that much time to learn how to proper write with a flexible nib and to learn a script like Spencerian. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely that anyone will go that further in this kind of path or way. So moving forward, my notes right here. What are your expectations from a flex nib? and here it's a bit of all. And I'm going to start saying that what are you expect from your first or from your flex nib? If you want line variation, it's very simple. You must choose the proper material and also the proper size for the nib. I do recommend you to start with the extra fine or fine. Keep in mind they will have a bit of feedback being such finer sizes of nibs, but you will have a lot of line variation because the starting line will be very thin, and when you flex the pen the end line will be a lot thicker, so the difference will be very much there. Material, well, here you have a lot of choices. You can go on the lower end budget or entry level and choose steel or flexible steel nib, and this way you will be able to figure it out if it's for you, if you like to flex a pen, what does it involve to use something like this on a daily basis or in normal writing. And I do recommend, if you're going for your first flex nib, go for steel. And here you could go for the Noodler's pens. They were my very first nib that had flex, and also an alternative that you can find on our website is the ETRURIA Rainbow, and this pen uses a flexible nib. The tipping is, I believe, extra fine. It is not marked, but it has a very fine starting line, and you can find them available on the PenVenture website. Moving forward, if you want to have fun, and by fun I put a lot of things in this word. Fun means if you want to have a very portable pen that you can use on a lot of types of paper, that you can use on a daily basis, that you can take with you without having any issues of burping ink. For example, the Noodler's pens often happen to burp ink, and I recommend you to go for a next level pen, which is a gold nib that is flexible. And why I think that, I believe if you're going to opt for a gold flex nib, probably you will use that nib in normal writing as well, so you do have versatility. It is not that feedbacky being gold, but remember, here is where I do recommend you to go for a size like medium, for example, because let's face it, if you won't have much fun with the pen when flexing, probably you can use it in normal writing and still get a lot of enjoyment from it. Now moving forward, and just as a side note, I have here a good example of a medium flex nib, and here is another STIPULA ETRURIA Rainbow, and this has a 14 karat medium flex nib. You can find this available on the PenVenture website. I will leave you a link down below, and my camera is closing. Another very interesting pen that has a gold flexible nib is Aurora 88, or the Aurora nibs, because now you can find them on the Optima model as well. These nibs are very fun to have and to use. They do offer a bit of line variation, not that much, but overall they are very decent and you can use them in normal writing. So I do recommend you trying one, but keep in mind these nibs offer a hint of feedback. So if you don't like feedback, probably you will end up going for something else. Now, what are the materials for the nibs and what do they offer individually? So we have steel, offer a decent line variation. It has a bit of feedback, but it will get the job done. I recommend this for the beginners out there who want to experiment with flex and have a more lower budget. Then we have titanium, and I'm not having any titanium nibs in my collection. And what's specific to this material is that it comes with a specific feedback. So when you write with a titanium nib, you will feel something like writing with a pencil. If this is not something that bothers you, I do recommend you to go further and have a titanium nib. They are very nice, they flex, they offer line variation, they are a bit softer than the steel nibs, so you will not have your hands fatiguing every single time that you are going to flex the pen. But be careful, you could very easy spring a titanium nib because it doesn't have that point that makes you feel that okay, this is too much, I'm not going to flex above this degree. And titanium nibs will not have that point, so be very careful. If you have too much fun with them, you can spring them. Finally, we have gold. Gold is probably the best idea if you have a much more decent budget to say something like this, because I say this, we have a lot of gold nibs that offer some flex. So the prices start anything from, let's say, like this Etruria Rainbow. I believe it's in the 400 euros margin or so, plus minus, I can't remember. And they do go up to the something like the Bologna with the magic flex nib, and this costs, I believe, 1,200 euros or 1,300 euros or so. So the budget is quite large and the margin can be in between those. So if you do want a proper flexible nib, go for gold. It will offer line variation. It will be a lot smoother than the steel and titanium. You can use them in everyday writing, not flexing them, which I believe it's very important if you will want to own one. And overall, they are very nice to have in your collection. Okay, I have here something regarding the compromise. Yes, okay. Let's see if there is a compromise that means a little bit of everything. So you have flex, you have fairly smooth nib, you have something of budget in between those, high and low. So probably my best choice for you would be to recommend a Pilot, and I have here my flexible nib from Pilot. This is the custom 912. On it we have the FA nib or the Falcon nib, and this is highly regarded as one of the most interesting flexible modern nibs on the market at this time. It does offer a huge line variation. It does offer a relative smooth writing experience, being that the starting line is almost extra fine. I believe the nib is quite smooth. It's really fun to write with it. and overall it doesn't cost you a fortune. And this is why I believe a nib like the FA on a pen like this custom 912 is probably the compromise that will fulfill every need of yours when you are thinking of a flexible nib. And you can learn a lot with this kind of nib. In the end, I would like to say that you should be very careful when going for a flex nib and choose the proper one, because you won't be as fulfilled if you are going to find that flexing a nib it's not for you. So I do recommend you to go through a video like this, learn a few things, and actually see what you're looking for, make a plan, see what fits your budget, your needs, and your expectations, and go for it. I think this is it. I hope you enjoyed this kind of pen talk, if we can call it like this. This series will be not edited, so this is everything that I got. Probably I will expect a few of your ideas for next videos in the comment section down below. If you enjoy videos like this, please share it with me in the comment section, and I will be gladly happy, motivated to do another video on a different topic, and like this we could all share our knowledge. My name is Emmy, and I look forward to seeing you next video.